Today, by you being here, I'm saying that I care about the growth of my team and how they go about achieving their goals on a day-to-day basis. My name is Cohen and I'm the Managing Director of Cohen Training Institute. On a day-to-day basis, we concentrate on coaching teams, whether it's sales, customer service, or coaches or managers, just yourself, so we understand how you are currently offloading the level of skills you have and how you can better do that so you get better results. Today specifically, we're going to talk about an action plan. What is an action plan? Action plan is simply a spotlight. The way I explain action plan to the people that I coach is that if we are sitting in a big room, I ask them, how many lights in this room? And quite often they don't know because they've never paid attention. And next thing I tell them is, well, look up and count. Basically what we're doing is the same thing. We are getting our people to focus. We are getting them to put their head up and count. We are getting them to focus on 1 to 2 goals where we are going to give them the skills and our support in a timeline so they can achieve better results. An action plan is not a disciplinary tool. An action plan is not a performance document. It is purely a coaching or a support tool. Now, just the way I explain that to you, you need to explain that to your team for that to be effective. Your team needs to understand that this is there so they can feel supported rather than being monitored or being performance managed. This is a level before all that stuff. There is absolutely a need for performance management, but before that, we need to coach and support our team. So one of the things that we do with our team, we communicate that message to them on a day-to-day basis. So if you don't have an action plan in your team, you may want to communicate that to them in a team environment, that you're going to be introducing something called a development action plan, that you'll be going around spending 10 to 20 minutes with each individual and really looking at things that they can make minor adjustments to get massive results. So by now you should have it printed or have the development action plan in front of you. If you look at the very top part of it, you look at the employee name or the employee ID. That's very self-explanatory. Then you look at the evaluation period on the right hand side. Evaluation period could be from the day you sit down with them to the day that you want the result met. So for example, I'm going to sit down with you today and the end date could be in 3 days time or 5 days time or 3 weeks time. You don't want to really make that a 3-month action plan. Action plans are supposed to be very quick and effective way to hit results on a day-to-day basis. So I will probably say 2 to 3 weeks is the very maximum you want to stretch that to. The next thing from that, just below that, is areas of improvement. Naturally, you don't want to look at your spreadsheet on a Monday morning in a team meeting and think, okay, my bottom performers are X, Y, and Z. I'm going to train them today. That's something that you don't want to do. You want to really understand why. The most effective area that you can use your action plans are with your middle performers. That means they are lacking certain skills or certain knowledge, or they need to focus on certain things that they may have lost focus, so they can make minor adjustments so they can see massive results. Bottom performers definitely need training, 100% need training, but that is something that you probably want to make it a little bit more of a management / training. So you need to look at adherence, look at a lot of other stuff as well as training. So you want to let them know, look, areas of improvement could be, if you're in a call center, could be your average call handling time, or it could be your availability. It could be how long you're on break and whatnot. If you're in a retail environment, you want to look at your average sale, share of wallet. You want to really put things in that you can measure. In an environment where you're in a call center or you're in a retail environment, you can't say, I'm going to make sure that you smile at every customer that comes in. You can't measure that. You can't tell people that are on the phone in customer service or sales that I want you to be upbeat. You can't measure that because them being upbeat is very different to you. So you really don't want to do that, because doing that is going to cause you more problems down the track. And I'll tell you how you can actually use those things to help them, but you don't really want to focus on them as goals. Next thing from that is the current performance. So where are they sitting right now? Why did you choose to train them? You need to let them know. This is going to be a very transparent conversation with them. Look, your current performance is X. What I want you to be at is Y. In saying that, I want to pull back a little bit. I use the word performance. So we used to use the word performance, current performance, and desired performance. We now change that to current outcome and desired outcome for two reasons. It sounds more friendly, it sounds more supportive, and the second reason is that it invites a conversation. If you look at an outcome, what is the outcome you want to achieve? It invites a conversation. It invites your people to really talk to you. Whereas if you use the word performance or goal, what is your goal? It really, it won't demotivate them, but it would really give them specific things that they think that they need to be telling you. Although these are goals, you want to use the words that are very soft and very gentle and very supportive. So outcome is a great word for that. So the current outcome is X. The desired outcome is Y. One thing I want to again mention is you don't necessarily have to make the desired outcome where the agent or the salesperson or customer service person needs to be by company standards. You might want to include 3 development action plans within 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 5 weeks to incrementally get them to the very best place they can be. So each action plan can include or encourage a little bit of a growth. They can achieve that and then they can move on to the next action plan. So be aware of that. Follow-up dates. This is extremely important so that you are able to understand where the gaps are, where your people are falling short. So if you're going to sit down with someone from today till 3 weeks time from today, you might want to put a follow-up date less than halfway forward. So if there's 15 days, my follow-up date would definitely be on the 10th day. It won't be after. So that means that if there's something that they're falling short on, they have more time to grow, more time to make adjustments. I'll probably put 2 follow-up dates in there, one before halfway, one just a little bit after the halfway, so they really feel the support, that you're there to support them and get them to their goal. So you really want to communicate that to them and get their agreement on that. The next thing just below that is desired outcome. This is where you want to sit down and talk about goals, but again, use the word outcome. What is it that you want them to achieve? I would strongly suggest that you pick 1 to 2 things that you want to concentrate on. If they're very small and quick things that you think that they can quickly make adjustments, give it 2 to 3 days. If there are bigger things, then obviously give it longer time. But don't really include 3 or 4 outcomes or goals that you want them to focus on. It gives them too much to do and it spreads them thinly. So pick 1 to 2 maximum. The next step below that, the obstacles. In my opinion and in my experience, that is the most important thing because it now invites them to tell you why they haven't been able to achieve it or why they think that certain things may be in their way and stopping them from achieving their goals. And by simply removing those obstacles, you might find out that person is hitting their goals or getting to the outcomes that you've set for them. So really encourage them to come. And the moment you feel that they're telling you things that they think you want to hear, pull back a little bit and again encourage and invite a very honest and open invitation to them to discuss. Tell them, what is it? What is it really that stopping you from achieving your goals or improving your goals? If they haven't been attending their shifts, really get them to find out, get them to tell you what it is. It could be family issues. It could be very minor things. It could be that they don't get along with the person next to them. Maybe you're talking to the wrong person. This is really a way for you to find out what is going on the floor in your work environment. So get them to open up to you. Below that is, again, the next step is called how my outcome or my progress will be monitored. This is something that they need to understand because, as I mentioned earlier, this is a very open and transparent process. They need to know how you will be monitoring them. If you're in a call center, whether it's blind monitoring or remote monitoring, looking at their data. If it's in retail and this action plan is being given by a cluster manager or an area manager to a store manager or a system manager, then it might be things like visitors coming into the store and marking your serviceability and how you're servicing them. It could be that they could be calling and pretending to be a customer, or it could be the manager of the store letting the person that's a sales assistant that all be simply staying back and watching your interactions with people and how you put your sales through. And if you attempt to close people quicker, how you welcome, how you attend your change rooms. It could be a lot of things. So you really want them to know what you're going to be doing. The last thing you want to do something that's not he mentioned, because that then again takes away from the honesty that you're trying to promote in this. Earlier we mentioned things like only measure things that are measurable. If you want them to smile, you can't really ask them to improve on that and then set it as a goal or an outcome. However, if you're telling your people to increase their sales, one of the ways that they can do that is being upbeat, being personable, being friendly, as well as other skills that they need to possess. But those actions that you need them to do that are not measurable could be the action steps to achieve their outcome. These are your ways, your tips that you've gathered over the years that you give them so that they can apply. So be friendly, smile when they come, be upbeat. Those are things that you can measure. So put that in there. At the very bottom of that, you print that, you naturally get them to, for the accountability portion of that, you get them to sign it, and you sign it, not so much that you'll be managing them, so you are committing to your portion of the process, which is you're going to be following up with them with the dates that we mentioned at the top, and also the progress monitoring that you'll be doing with them. So you really want to sign that and then let them know that, and this date is the end date that we will be achieving the goals. So there are two different options. There is extended and then there is achieved. At the very end of the process, when you sit down with your people, you want to really look at it in an honest way. And if you're going through your follow-ups, you should really know if they're achieving their goals or not. If they're achieving it, perfect. You achieve, you always write notes, especially if they're doing something great, whether it's in your follow-up or at the very end. Always, always, always find things to praise them on. Never ever leave a coaching session without giving them a praise, without giving them positive feedback, ever. Whether it's in writing or verbally, I highly recommend that it's writing. So you write that in there for them. If it needs to be extended, by all means, you know by now, because you've gone through your follow-ups, because you've been monitoring the actions, you know that this needs to be extended. So by the end of it, this is going to be no surprise to anyone that yes, we'll extend it. Only extend the action plan once. If you find yourself extending the action plan again, you really want to revisit your goals. You really want to delve deeper and look at the obstacles that's really holding your people back, and really invite a very open, maybe more honest encouragement, a very more honest conversation. So, and then obviously if the performance drops, then it's a different story. If the performance lifts, you really want to keep them going. Action plan is a supportive tool. Just because they're moving up doesn't mean you stop the action plans. You want them to keep going up, continuous improvement. At the very bottom of it, as I mentioned earlier, always write notes, positive notes. If you're extending, again, write notes. You are extending because of X, Y, and Z, and then you will just file that away. The last thing I want to mention is the action plan is not to be filled out and be given to them so it can go anywhere. It needs to be visual. It needs to be stuck up in their desk, in their pod, in the environment where they're going to be sitting. If it's in retail, in their back office, or in their drawer, in the diary. In retail, if you're setting the days, you know what their goals are. So they need to constantly see where they're at and what the steps are to achieve their goals. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you're going to use this action plan and definitely let me know how you go. Hit me up on Twitter, it's at NoahCTI, and definitely like us on Facebook at Cohen Training Institute, and share your successes with us. If there's anything that you have questions, please ask us on Facebook, Cohen Training Institute, and I'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions. Look, even if you want us to talk to you in private, send us a private message. I'm always happy to help you grow your team and your results. At the end of the day, this action plan is a tool for you to grow also. So have a purposeful day and hope to hear from you soon.